All right, for all my audio nerd friends out there, let's go over the band's acoustic live show setup as it is so far. Anyway, um, you see, well, we've got the usual to start in the back basically and work our way forward, I guess. T. Roy's got his kit over here. This started out as that little square box right there and maybe a couple of other things, and then he just kind of started realizing he missed his drums when we were doing our acoustic stuff, so he's pretty much got another kit here. But um but no, it's a good backing sound. It's a good full backing sound for us, especially being a trio. It helps that you can fill in some frequencies for us back here. Everybody's got a microphone. There's T. Roy's microphone. Mine and Casey's right here. And we'll show you where all of that runs here. This is the front room, one of the front rooms of the house here, by the way. If you can look out front here and see across the street to the neighbor's house there. This is the flight deck area where we've been practicing. There's the studio over in here, just so you can get a perspective of where things are at. And then my office where I work during the day is right in that little area in there. So this whole front room's set up for practicing gigs at the moment, and Dana has been very gracious to allow us to do this and leave it set up like this. By the way, most of the time, on when the band gets here, it's just convenient. Anyway, so there's T. Roy's setup over here. Back here, we've got the microphones, all of that. Runs into our board over here, which is the PreSonus. It's the 24 channel Series 3 Studio Live. For a small band, or I mean, for any application really, but especially for a small a band, or just doing like an acoustic live show like we're doing here. This thing is, well, it's technically overkill. There's a lot this board does, but as far as being manageable, being intuitive to use, and then easy to do things like things that you probably normally wouldn't do with an analog board, like record the entire show. All of that has been made real easy on these boards here. So I'll always recommend a PreSonus board for sure. So here's the outboard rig. It's just providing power mostly is all it's doing. I've got a Furman power, or sorry, not Furman, but the Livewire power conditioner in there. There's a MIDI verb, which we'll probably hook up at some point. This EQ, I haven't decided if we're going to need yet. The board itself has got a global EQ that seems to be doing a really good job, so I don't think we're going to need that actually. So that might come out and save some space in there. And then these two are the Behringer iNuke 3000 power amps. These will be used whenever if we ever do a bigger show, or a decent size show. In the garage, I've got some 2x15s that these will power. I've also got some stage monitors that, one of these will power the 2x15s. The other ones will be for any kind of extra stage monitors if we use any of that stuff ever. We'll see. It's possible when we start doing not acoustic shows, but more of electric shows, where we're playing live with, a full drum kit. Casey's got the full backing tracks behind them, and I'm probably just doing a little lead guitar thing here or there, or filling in on rhythm guitar stuff. Then we'll probably have some stage monitors there, or we'll see. Like I said, this board here is doing such a great job, and even with talking about stage monitors, even with in-ear monitoring, this thing is phenomenal. So we might just use in-ears and not even worry about stage wedges at all. Anyway, these go out to a couple of, not the most expensive speakers, altos. We got, I think, Guitar Center like 12 years ago. But they still do the job. As long as you EQ everything right, these things won't rumble or growl at you, which is good. They actually do have some pretty decent clarity once you, like I said, but you do have to EQ things right. Okay, so that's that. And then guitar-wise, Both acoustic guitars, Casey's and mine, I'm running through the Helix. The Helix is running stereo XLR out to the board, and I've got it on one channel here. And then vocals over here. And then here's where we had the original acoustic guitars connecting before I started using the Helix. So these channels will be freed up here. And then Troy pointing and moving my camera around. These channels will be freed up here. These were the old channels for the acoustic guitars. This is the Helix. This is going to be well, right now it's a kick drum that Troy's testing out. Sounds really good. So we'll probably leave that in. I might move that channel somewhere else, and then eventually just take all of this and probably move it down the board so it's all in this section here. I did it this way just initially and I might leave it this way. We'll see, because it's a small enough show. Instruments this side, vocals this side was my plan anyway, to just keep myself organized on the board. Okay, so there's that. There's the board. So all that goes to both guitars go to the Helix. I'm going into the guitar in channel, and the Casey's going into the aux channel. And then what I've done is just watched a bunch of videos on YouTube, like probably everybody else did, to figure out the best way to run two guitars with the Helix. And let me see here. Get this back up. There we go. And so, yeah, what you'll see here is, well, here, let me do this. Hopefully that spun around right for you. So this channel here coming in to the guitar in, that's me. That's my acoustic guitar. I go into an IR. It's an IR of a Martin 45, I believe, an old Martin. It just gives it a little bit of sparkle, because I mean the tone coming in, the raw guitar coming in is it's pretty dull. It's a dull kind of sound. So these IRs are actually pretty cool. So this one's, like I said, it's a Martin 45, and so that adds some sparkle, and then run it into a compressor just to give it some boost and round out the sound. EQ over here. This one is doing a tilt at 800 frequencies. I'm sorry, 800 hertz. I think that's the tilt. Let's see. Yeah, that's the tilt. And I've got that set at 800. And then the next EQ is just the 10 band, rolling off a bunch of the low end, because, again, these speakers over here rumble really easy. So any kind of low end I can get rid of that we don't need in an acoustic show, I'm getting rid of it. So you'll see I'm doing a real big dip for the two bottom frequencies, and then just kind of doing a little smiley face in the middle, getting rid of some of that 500 hertz that's kind of a boxy sound, and then upwards around the 16K just to get rid of some of the harshness, basically, that's coming through the speakers. Roll all that off. I might even roll off some 8K. We'll see. I haven't played around with it enough yet. But so there's that. Then I bring the channel down so we can have a little more processing power. If I want to add some effects, they'll just kind of sit in this area here, which is acting kind of like an outboard effects loop. And then we bring it back in before the final reverb, which I'm just using the Ganymede, and lightly, not much of it, 22% in the mix, just a bit to give that kind of a room effect so that the guitars aren't so dry, basically. And then Casey's chain is right here. He's coming in through the aux channel, and kind of same thing. His IR is different. His IR is using a Guild D4 simulator. So and then his EQs are pretty much exactly the same. In fact, they are exactly the same. Same thing set up here with the effects slip, and then he's got the verb on the way out, the same as I've got set. And that's our template. That's what we use for our live show. That's the bass template, basically, for all of our bass sounds. And then as we need things, like if something needs a little chorus, or something needs a little phase, or whatever kind of effects need to be added, they'll all kind of fill in these areas here, these empty areas. And what I'll do is I'll go to this acoustic live one, which is our first preset I'm working on. You can see I've got some effects here. I've got a little Of the liquefier for me, this is my channel here, going into a retro reel at some point, and then I've got a delay added when I do guitar solos. And then for Casey, I've got a little bit of a 70s chorus, just a touch, not much. If you look at the mix, it's like 19%, tiny bit of chorus. It just kind of helps his sound kind of round out a little bit. Because what I eventually do is at the end, where we go XLR out, I push mine to the right just a bit, right? 25%, and then Casey's to the left, 25%. And that gives us just a little bit more separation, at least in these speakers, especially when you spread them a little farther apart than they're sitting right now. But yeah, that's our live rig setup at the moment. Anyway, all of that, like I said, runs into the Helix. Helix runs into the board, and yeah, then we just try to mix it as best we can for what we're doing here. Practice wise, we've had the speakers on for the last few practices. What I'm thinking is I want to test the in-ear stuff. So next practice, we will turn these speakers off. We probably won't even use them, and make sure we've got the in-ears working the way we need them to. Everybody can hear what they need, and then everybody's got their own personal mixes too. So like Casey brought a little wireless transmitter for his in-ears this last time. And basically what we're doing is we're coming out, output mix 9 and 10 is going to be Casey's mix. I haven't named it yet, but you can see he's got a little bit of his vocal in there right now. That was all he was using because he was hearing enough guitar through here. But we need to make sure he can hear guitar in his in-ears when it's needed. So we'll finish up his mix next time we're here. But so he's in mix his mix is coming out in 9 and 10. I'm giving the stereo mix. And then out of 9 and 10, basically, I just had this little converter that went from the two quarter-inch jacks to a 3.5 millimeter, which is what goes into his little wireless transmitter. And the transmitter just kind of sat hanging off here, basically. And he was able to get the mix in his ears as he wanted. Sorry, move all these back down here. So yeah, everybody will have the custom mix. That'll be Casey's mix. This will be mine, and this will be Troy's. And we'll set them all up as we need to. So yeah, that's our goal, at least for the next practice. But that's our live rig for all, like I said, my audio nerds that are interested in seeing this kind of stuff. There's our live rig setup. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer as quick as we can. All right, guys. Peace and love.